Hey guys, welcome back. Today we got a lot to talk about, man. Some good steamy stuff. And I say steamy because it's a hot as hell in here.
Is it
And
really?
yeah, it's so weird. The weather lately has been nuts. It was like freezing a couple of days ago. Like you had to wear like a sweater and stuff like that. And now I'm literally sweating. Like it's crazy. Anyway, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, and I am so curious to hear what you have to say. You wanted to start with the Sony or Microsoft? Which
Yeah,
one?
let's start with Sony.
Okay.
So,
So,
uh,
before so the big news. I think there's a couple of things. So you all know about Concord, right? We talked about that last week, where 14 days and bleh, they killed it. They rebounded with Astrobot. It's getting like the best reviews since like Super Mario Galaxy for a platformer. Some calling it like one of the best platformers ever created, which is surprising in the sense
oh
that
yeah,
just like surprising, but it doesn't look like it's selling. So that sucks.
yeah, Sony's just getting kind of hammered lately, man.
I know, and so it was funny because like they had the bad news right with Concord, then they had the good news with like the critical reception of Astrobot, and I really do hope it sells. The other one that was sort of like the demo for the PS5 was absolutely amazing. I loved it because it's like a celebration of PlayStation. So, like you had the PS1 and you could climb all around it and jump on the the tray to open it up, and like it was just cool. It was a really cool game.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they had what, in my opinion, honestly, I think was one of the worst console unveilings ever. And it's probably not for the reason many people will think. So, Sony, the rumors were true. With Sony, they're always true. The PS5 Pro was announced. And unlike the PS4 Pro, when that was announced, and just a little refresher for everybody so they know, when they showcased the PS4 Pro, one of the coolest things that they did was they highlighted all new games, and they were like, this game's coming out. It's going to play just fine on your PS4, but check it out on the PS4 Pro, and you could tell. You know what I mean? Like it was one of these things. It wasn't, I don't want to like sugarcoat it. It wasn't like night and day different, but it was an improvement. But this time they showed games that were like 3 and 4 years old.
Yeah, that kind of makes kind of weird, right?
Very weird. And you have a problem when you're showing a last gen game, and yeah, okay, fine, remastered, whatever, but you have to pause the action, zoom into the background, and you're like, look at that. Isn't that awesome? It's like, it's a little bit more sharp. So as I was watching this, I was just like, okay, come on, guys. Like, where's GTA 6? You know what I mean? Like, GTA 6 is not coming out on PC at launch, meaning it will probably be the highest selling PlayStation game, even though it's not going to be PS5 exclusive. Let's be honest, the Xbox, I think right now represents, I think it's 20, 19 or 20% of the console market, meaning it is a PS5 exclusive pretty much. How could you not show that game for a new, for like your refresh console? So
Yeah, you're right.
I was just sitting there, just what? Like I was blown away. And then the next thing and I'm not going to go into all the details. There's these three pillars that they were talking about. Basically, better graphical performance. Like a CPU, bigger CPU, and they have their own version of whatever it is, DLSS or whatever. PSSR is what they're calling it. So basically, upscaling through artificial intelligence. It's all good stuff, guys. So like all that stuff is good stuff. There's nothing bad to say about kind of any of that. But what happened next is what everyone is talking about, and that is the price. So then the price comes on the screen and it fades to black and away we go. Now here's the thing. With the PS4 Pro, they lowered the price of the PS4 and they slotted the Pro into that slot, which is the Apple thing to do, right? Like lower the price, slot that in, and keep it sort of the way it is. Now, it's going to be released for the low price of $699.99.
That's of course different in different regions, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
In Canada, I know you guys pay more than we do in the U.S. for some odd reason.
Well, the dollar. It's because the dollar isn't as strong. But whoa, hold up. One thing at a time here.
So, here we go, Jared.
Vertical stand not included.
So that's a very much an Apple thing to do. I was going to tell you.
Yeah,
Apple does the same crap as well.
So now, again, I got to pause just for half a second. They did a refresh last year, I think it was, with like their slimmer model, so they could save some cash. And they basically had a disk drive and a vertical stand that you could buy separately. Both those accessories are compatible with this PS5 Pro, which means, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that right, the disk drive is also not included, which is another $79.99 US. So if you were, I don't exactly remember what the vertical stand is, but if you wanted the vertical, I think it's like $40. So if you wanted all of that, you're looking at $800.
That's insane, man.
That's a lot of money. But I knew, talking to Tim, that you're going to focus all on, the Tim of this. But so number one, I agree with you. Okay. Like there's no, like, yeah, I agree. Like this is crazy, but I think it hurts or is shocking even more so because consoles have had kind of limits, right? Like let's be honest, decades we've had the sub $300 console.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it slowly has increased over time. PlayStation 3, which, by the way, if you factor inflation, is still the most expensive console, which is shocking to me because that sticker price here is, whoa, baby. But I will say, the only thing I'll say about this is I'm surprised at the $699, not including like a disc drive or anything. I really thought it was going to be $599 without a disc drive. That's what my like sort of thought was. Like as they were going through it and stuff, I was like, okay, we all know they want to do away with discs. Everybody does.
Yeah, everyone does. Not just Sony.
That's
Microsoft is aggressively doing it as well.
Yeah.
Only one I think not really embracing is Nintendo, but they're always 10 years behind tech-wise. Well, exaggeration, but their systems are always behind, so I don't anticipate Switch 2 being.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. So now I gotta say, we know tech prices have gone insane. Okay, like we know that. And guys, like here in Canada, I'll just say, like if you wanted to buy an RTX 4080, 4090, I mean, they're thousands of dollars for a single graphics card, which is utterly ridiculous. And It just sucks because the reason they're so expensive is because now Nvidia, again, they basically have a monopoly. It's Nvidia and AMD, but Nvidia is still ahead big
Yes,
time
sir.
in the game. And because artificial intelligence now requires a lot of computational power, we have now reached a point, in my opinion, of sheer lunacy with electronics, like as a whole. And what scares me as I was preparing for today is when I did a comparison of other stuff on the market, and I still think the price is crazy, but once you remove the console like plateaus that have existed for decades, once you step away from that and you look at what else is being done, I'm almost convinced we are going to see the first $1,000 console since like the 3DO soon. Like very soon, we're going to see the first $1,000 console.
Yeah, that's bad. Because you could buy a decent mid-range PC for that price, basically, maybe a little bit more. But yeah, it's like consoles are getting too expensive, and the whole benefit of a console traditionally is like, a lot of people say, well, obviously consoles are easy because you don't have to worry about drivers, OS issues, etc., etc. It's a dedicated machine, so you just plug and play. It works. You don't have to ever worry about it. Even though PC, I know this is a notorious negative stigma that's existed, because back in the day, PCs gaming wasn't as thorough or as what's it called, as stable as it is now. So
Yeah.
it still has that negative dogma of like, oh, PC, I'm gonna have to worry about that. It's extremely rare. It's not that common. So,
Yeah, no,
but
I
you
think
know how people are.
Yeah, and
So-
I think today, dude, I think it's more the TV. It's what you and I have been talking about for
Yeah.
a long time now. And well, finish your thought because I'm going somewhere with this.
So anyway, so the whole point of a console is its ease and its accessibility into gaming, right? If you think about it, like the console PlayStation 5 and what Xbox X and S at launch, for the cost at the time, was extremely powerful machines for their cost. And then, as PCs are upgradable and they surpass it extremely quickly. But the point is, you get a very powerful machine for your bang for your buck, whatever you want to call it. Now, if it's going to start getting $1,000, man, it's going to limit the market. If anything, I think that's going to hurt console sales globally, because there'll be people, of course, who get it, but there's a lot of people that aren't going to shell over that kind of money, dude. So I don't know. They're going to have to rethink their strategy. Microsoft's thing was always take a hit on hardware, and wasn't that Sony's too? Take a hit on hardware, and then you make it up with software, and
That's
et cetera.
it. But I think now that is a thing of the past, and I think it's because they don't want to take any chances. Like,
yeah.
at $700, they're making a profit per console for sure. Like, for sure. Now, there's a couple of things here. I know we've spoken about this in the past, but I genuinely believe if the Nintendo Switch comes out at $499,
Which
then
is rumors say it will.
If that's
at
the
least.
case, then you are guaranteed that the next generation will be pretty much $700. I can't see if Nintendo's 500, I can't see for another 100 how you're going to get all this horsepower.
No.
That makes no sense. Like that's illogical.
We haven't had any announcements Switch 2, but we know already that from rumors and tech data that's been gathered, it's already obsolete tech. I mean, it's Nintendo. So if they're going to sell, 3, 4, 5-year-old tech for $500, that's insane. Another thing too, what's happened to the trend? Technology as it went with like the mid-range console upgrades and stuff would be cheaper because tech would get cheaper. It's designed, they've manufactured, it's cheaper. But that doesn't seem to be the case the last.
Well, dude, there's a reason why. Because it was the rise of the monopoly of graphics cards. That's what's killing everything.
That's what's killing it. Yeah, and they need to address that.
Yeah,
I
like,
hope
dude,
Intel makes a big splash, but I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I don't think anyone can catch up right now. I'm hoping, but I don't think so. Like, this is the problem right now, ladies and gentlemen, that we face if you want to build your own computer. It makes no sense to me that today it would cost me more money to build a gaming rig than 5 years ago. Like, that makes no sense in
Yeah,
the
and the
sense like
bulk
it's
of it.
supposed to be, like you say, like, you know, it just doesn't make any sense, like significantly more. It's not like, of course, right, of course, like prices increase, so yes, that what I just said doesn't make any sense. But what I'm talking about is like thousands more, not like $50, $100 or whatever. The last two PCs I built were around the same price, and they were both like top of the line computers. When I priced it out now, it was just laughable, like how
Yeah,
much it would
yeah,
cost.
it's gone up a lot, and the bulk of it is just your freaking video cards, like you
Yeah.
said. I mean, CPUs aren't that expensive overall. Motherboards are pretty relatively cheap.
Yeah.
RAMs, well, actually, RAMs kind of gone up in price a little bit, but it used to be dirt cheap. It's still relatively, but it's your video card that
Yeah.
puts the bulk of the. That's ridiculous.
It
And you're
is.
right. It's because you don't have real competition,
Well,
and that's not good.
that's it. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't know why I keep saying ladies and gentlemen, but the I am telling you, the reason this system is 699 is because of that, of the fact that there's no competition in the gaming industry either. Sony now is basically the dominant player over the last 2 years of modern, like when I do that, you know what I mean, right? Like non-Switch related like games. They've basically they have a monopoly again. It's like PS2 all over again, with the exception of, Switch has done really, really well, but you're not going to play Grand Theft Auto 6 on the Switch. Like that's not going to happen. And I think Sony knows that and is like, screw this. We are not going to lose money on this. And that's the end of it. Now, two other quick comparisons I wanted just to let you all know. If we go, I forget when it was, last month or something like that, Microsoft announced their new fleet of hardware. So the all digital Xbox Series X is $499.99 US, which is $599 Canadian because of our dollar. Dollar's not the best right now, okay, but it's okay, like whatever. $100, that's what I'm used to. I'm used to around that, but watch this, okay? The 2 terabyte Xbox Series X, which none of you complained about, which I don't understand, is $599.99. And I had to actually go on YouTube and look, and I was like, why is no one complaining about this? And it's interesting because that is the price that I thought this was going to be. But the more I look at it, I'm like, that's kind of nuts. Like, so the Xbox Series X is the exact same machine, the exact same hardware, the exact same graphical output, the whole thing, with the exception that it's a 2 terabyte SSD instead of a 1 terabyte SSD, and it's $100 cheaper than the Pro. So now I'm like, okay, well, wait a minute. So the PS5 Pro has a new CPU, graphics, and a 2 terabyte drive as well, and it's $100 more minus the disk drive. So you could say it's like $200 more. But listen to the prices in Canadian, guys, because this is some next level. Like I can't believe this. So the 2 terabyte Series X at $599 US is $799 Canadian. I almost lost my shit when I saw that. So I was like, what? So it's $200 more expensive here in Canada for that. And the PS5 Pro will go down, I'm almost certain of this, is going to go down in history as the most expensive Canadian console in history at a whopping $959.99.
That's it, man. Chump change for you, Jared. Chump change,
Dude.
Yeah, that's insane, dude.
That is
it reminds
a lot.
Yeah, it reminds you. Remember the Neo Geo days? Remember how expensive that was, and $250 for the cartridge? But that was different back in the day, though, guys.
Yeah, that was different.
That was arcade perfect
Yeah.
at home, and back then, arcade cabinets, they were expensive. So, but man, that's insane. And it's funny because it's not funny because I think it's going. You're right. No matter what, the next PlayStation launch will be extremely successful at launch because all your scalpers, your
Yeah,
hardcore true
yeah.
fans will buy it. But long term, at that price, it's going to definitely affect, especially in more poorer type areas of the world that struggle for to eat ends meet. They're not going to be wasting freaking $700, $800 on a console in certain markets, dude. So United States. Even the United States is going to be kind of a hard sell
Oh,
because a lot of
dude.
people are struggling right now. The middle class is
Yeah,
hurting. There's a lot of. We're going to talk about layoffs in a
yeah,
minute. So I mean, the economy's not that great, even though it is and it's not. The
yeah,
media loves to
yeah.
paint a nasty picture, especially come election time here in the U.S. because they want to try to promote certain agendas and stuff. We're not going to get in politics, but anyways,
But my point is just, dude, that's a lot of money, man. Like that's a
it
lot of
is.
money. And
I will.
and
Well, I don't buy consoles, that, except for the Switch. But I don't buy I haven't bought a PlayStation or Xbox for a long time now. So
yeah, but
it won't affect me, but it will affect a lot of people.
yeah, and it was more. It's like it's not the now that I'm concerned about because look, it's a mid or late, whatever you want to call it.
It's
Cycle
not. It's not even going to
refresh.
sell that much.
Like Sony for sure is not stupid. Like they've done the research on this, but I'll tell you, like I don't understand why GTA 6 wasn't there. I don't get it. Like that
Well,
was one of the
it's
worst showing. Like why would you, knowing that it was this expensive? Honestly, the entire showcase I would have had new games. Wouldn't have shown a single old game except for, well, okay, I probably would have done a little thing to show how old games get improved with the new platform, but I never would have done 10 minutes highlighting all old games. It doesn't make sense. And I am totally like sort of torn here because I understand the expenses. Like I get it. I really get it. As a guy who's a huge technology fan, everything is so damn expensive. Like the new iPhone coming out, like $1,500 for top of the line and this and that. That's insane. And so yeah.
it is insane. Well, I was going to say, do you think if consoles are going to be so expensive, I wonder if they're. I don't see it happening, but maybe Microsoft might be interested because they kind of like subscription. Maybe they could bundle in with the Game Pass. Do you think that consoles, since they're going up in price, are they going to do kind of like what a phone does, where you could get it and make monthly payments, kind of like service plan type thing, and then Microsoft could bundle in Game Pass? That'd be kind of attractive for people included.
Dude,
So
they're
you
gonna
save
have to do
costs,
something.
something like that, because
Like,
that's what maybe they're kind of heading towards. But yeah,
yeah, I don't know. All I know is that like I don't know what the next gen looks like because at setting that price at $699, how in the hell do you release a PlayStation 6 cheaper? I don't I
no,
don't
you
see it.
don't. Oh, no,
I
it's not going to
just
happen, dude.
like
And especially with Nintendo's being 500, I wonder what other tech Nintendo's going to include. We obviously know it's going to be a hybrid console again. They're never going to go dedicated console. They're not after the success of the Switch. They're going to mimic its strategy and maybe enhance and improve it. So I wonder what else they're going to do. I'm just glad that they're going away from the gimmicky console controllers, man. I mean, I know the Joy-Cons, but at least you could put it onto in the Pro Controller. I play Pro Controller only. I never do the Joy-Cons, dude. This is garbage. But so I'm kind of glad they're finally going away from. Well, it's true, right?
Like it's so
Yeah.
funny. Like it's
But
hilarious.
anyways, I
Anyway.
don't know. I'm curious to see what the Switch 2 is going to offer for $500.
Well, let's
That's
see.
pretty-
Let's see what it is. But at these price points, honestly, at these price points, the fact that you can buy an Xbox Series X for $500, it says a lot, man. Like I really am curious. Anyway, just to wrap this up, the what are they called? The disk drives have completely sold out worldwide. Scalpers went nuts and are now selling them for like $200 a pop. And I'm just here sitting here going, This is absolutely insane because, you know, if they play their cards right, the system itself might actually be very cool. You know what I mean? Like with newer games that are coming out, it might actually be something like, oh, okay, cool. But at that price point, I'm very nervous for the future of gaming because all of us have been brainwashed in, for better or worse, into thinking consoles have the value of this. And I mean, like, kudos to Microsoft and Sony for pushing to say, hey, screw you. It isn't just that. But then reverse kudos to say, like, man, I don't know, because if all next gen, if the cheapest console next generation is $500 and everything else
raises
is
the bar
$7
up substantially. Yeah.
And games, don't forget, they raised the price of games.
Games are more expensive too. So everything, which makes sense, I guess, because if you think about it, game pricing has been pretty stable. I mean, it's hell. People forget the NES days; those games were expensive. People forget that, right?
Yeah.
So gaming prices are pretty stagnant for a long, long time. Now the whole trend, well, they raised the price. Now the whole trend is these deluxe editions for like $100 to get these cosmetics, day one stuff, and get early access to the game, which is bullshit. It's just a way to gut people more of their money. But hey, it's been extremely successful. So again, who do you blame, the gamer or the companies? You blame I'm not defending companies, but you blame the gamers because people continue to buy. And if there's a market, companies are going to go. So, yeah, at the end of the day, guys, speak with your wallet. But anyways, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where this all goes. But, Jared, it's, 8 days or so to fall, and rumors saying we're supposed to hear a Switch 2 announcement, so hopefully we get to talk about it soon. But I don't know. You think it's still going to happen this month?
September, no. I think that was a miscommunication. I actually don't think you're going to hear anything this year. I don't think so.
Wow, pretty bold. Usually they give a 6-month window, though, traditionally.
But the thing is, it is dominated. They don't need to anymore.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And I think there was a real communication with the whole September thing because they have they're refreshing their console right now with like another pack-in game, and I think
so maybe you're right.
Got screwed up with that.
But a little miss.
Prove me wrong. I'm okay to be proven wrong, but I don't think so.
Before we switch topics too, I want to know in comments, guys, the new pricing of consoles, of the Switch 2 being rumored $500, and then the other consoles like Xbox and Microsoft being $700 plus. Is that going to affect your purchase decisions? Are you guys still going to support your favorite consoles, or are you going to wait or not buy them in general? So who knows? We'll see. I do want to know what people think.
Yeah, I mean, me too. And the problem is, though, like everybody keeps saying, there was a really good Digital Foundry video where they were talking about the fact that everybody keeps saying PC, but that's not entirely accurate. Like, you are not going to get the same horsepower for $700. You're going to have to add more money, and then there's the problem of it's not attached to your TV. And that's the number one appeal. It's not as much nowadays with the graphics cards and the drivers, and stuff like that. That's not as much of the issue. It's really that PCs that attach to your computers still suck because there's no OS for that. That was the beauty of Steam OS, was that it was specifically designed to have an operating system that was just super easy to use with a controller. And I'm telling you, and this is the last of this, and then we can get on, now's the time for a PC that connects to the TV at the $700 price range. If you do that with like a Steam OS, I guarantee you're gonna start being successful, because if you've got Steam and you allow access to like Epic Game Store, Xbox Game Pass, me personally, I would switch. I would use a device like that as my primary gaming device over these other consoles, just because it would be so unbelievably convenient because then on my PC, cloud syncing, I can continue the games. It would be higher resolution and stuff like that. But when I come home and I'm exhausted from work, I can still go to the couch, grab my controller, and play. So it's going to be really interesting. Ahmed said it best to me this morning. He was like, it's the first time in gaming history, really, that all companies are doing their own thing. Like, did you ever think we would live in a time period with Microsoft and Sony not going head to head, doing their own completely different strategies? I never expected that. We're used to Nintendo doing their own thing, but when Microsoft announced whatever it was last month, that they were not doing a mid refresh, and remember, they did do that last gen. You had the Xbox One X, and like, I'm just saying, this is the first time that I've ever seen all the console manufacturers doing their own thing. And it would not surprise me if, like, late next year, Microsoft has a brand new console, like their next generation. And then that's just going to put everything in a tizzy. Everything's going to get all screwed up. Because if you have a real next-gen Xbox, you've got a mid-cycle PlayStation, you've got a Switch 2 off doing its own thing. If you're a developer, you're kind of just like, oh, what the hell, man? So,
yeah, it's going to be interesting. And I do anticipate PlayStation 5 and S and X are going to be supported for years after their official replacements are on the market, just like PlayStation 4 and all that. I mean, PlayStation 4 support's dying up now, but it's amazing how games are still being released on those platforms, man. That's usually unheard of too, right?
Yeah.
Used to be that back in the day, as soon as a new system come out, there'd be maybe a pipeline of 6 months to a year, if that, because, you know, certain projects were in development beforehand and they just hadn't been released. But that was like a cutthroat, right? But not anymore, man. It's amazing. But we're going to move on to, since we're talking about Microsoft. Microsoft does another round of layoffs, guys. Microsoft cut 650 more gaming jobs. So the official spiel from Mr. Head of Xbox is, as part of our aligning our post when they basically buy. This is very common in the U.S. I'm pretty sure it's other countries too, where a corporation buys any other company. They usually gut them within the first 6 months of the year. They cut them. So their post structure, managing our business, we have made this decision to eliminate approximately 650 roles across Microsoft Gaming, mostly corporate and supporting functions, to organize our business for long-term success. So one game in particular, there's two mobile games. The Call of Duty mobile thing didn't do so well, I guess. That got cut. Warcraft Rumble, which we've talked a couple times in the podcast, its team got gutted by half. So Microsoft claims that both those games will not be going any offline. They probably won't, but they'll probably go into what they call is maintenance mode. They say the reason for it is because they're considered post-launch games, which is true, by the way, guys. Usually when a game's being developed, their teams are much larger because you need to get it done, et cetera, et cetera. After that, you just need a portion of that workforce to maintain new content, et cetera. But I don't know. This kind of reminds me of Hero of the Storms. I think Warcraft Rumble is definitely going to be going into what they call maintenance mode, where it means it doesn't go offline, but it doesn't get any new content updates. So we'll see. But yeah. What do you think about that, Jared? Which, you know, it's common, but yeah, they've been very aggressive with laying off, man. So,
well, dude, I pulled some stats here, okay? Now, again, guys, these are just stats, okay? So I don't want, oh, you're wrong and all this. But I do think this is telling. The highest Microsoft's percentage has been, combining X and S at the worldwide gaming market, was around 20% in 2022. They have never come back. They've never bounced back since the catastrophe of the Xbox One. Ever. They just never, ever were able to bounce back. It is estimated today, in 2024, September 2024, that they're hovering somewhere between 10 and 12% of the market. And so
that's a small piece of the pie.
that's
dude.
a very small piece of the pie, which is why you are seeing the transition you're seeing, right? Is like if this, I give it one more time. If whatever they work on next does not explode, they'll transition. It's simply because it doesn't make any. It makes no sense. Like
long term, I think. I think the hardware's not in their future, and they're going to have a huge portfolio of amazing IPs and hopefully studios if they don't keep gutting them to death.
Yeah, but I think just what I'm getting at with this is that I think like whatever the strategy is, this is what you're seeing. Like you're seeing all of this is like they're trying to clear out the dead wood and trying to. I'm dead serious. I think we've got one more last hurrah, but that just to me, I find that very scary because the appeal of a console is not going anywhere. Like it's not going anywhere. Like that'll be around in another 20 years. Like the appeal of just I want to just sit on my damn sofa, grab a controller and play a game. I don't care how, I don't care, whatever, but that scares me. It really does scare me that, if Microsoft were to... Why did you just shut off your camera? What are you doing?
Oh, I had to sneeze. I didn't want no one to see or hear.
You're so funny. But yeah, like it just scares me because this is how monopolies are made, right? Is with decisions like that. And
it's true.
And that's not cool, man. Because I'm telling you, the only reason the PS5 Pro is $699 is because they don't have competition. If there was another, Xbox Series Y that was coming out and whatever, and it was at the price point of $599, you can bet your butt.
Oh, big time! Yeah,
it would be
100%.
$599, but. And so that does scare me. And one other little caveat that Ahmed texted me that I thought was actually kind of funny. You know that Indiana Jones is multi-platform and Doom is multi-platform. Could you imagine if they optimize for the PS5 Pro and they run better on Sony's hardware than Microsoft's?
Dude,
that would be the funniest thing.
I don't see that happening. But yeah, you're right.
Not do that. That would be so stupid. I'd be like, what?
Oh, and by the way, I'm really looking forward to both games. They're both on Game Pass, so I get included. But Game Pass is the best bang for your buck, guys, especially if you like playing a lot of games. I mean, if you're one of those type of people that dedicate solely to one game, there's people like that, right? They don't play multiple games, and obviously it's not. Unless that one game happens to be in Game Pass, then it might be worth it. Maybe not. But yeah.
Oh, I'm looking
forward to Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
dude.
Me too, man. That's our age group, and I'm very, very excited about that because that's coming out soon.
Oh yeah, very, very soon.
Yep.
Matter of fact, but in the release date, I think it's hold on. Got it. Definitely coming in. Very.
Is it October or November?
Let's see.
Don't be November. Don't be
Great
November.
Circle. It is coming out on, according to this. Oh, okay. Well, it's a little while. December 6th.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
So it's a little while.
No,
but anyways,
that's okay.
So it's coming up.
Yeah, I would say next year is the year for Game Pass because it's enough time when like all the Bethesda games and stuff like they're doing their transition right
all these
now.
Big games are coming out, man.
But next year is gonna be something. Is going to be something special. But I always hate when you report on, well, not you, but we report on closures and stuff because it sucks, like more people losing their jobs and stuff. And it sucks. Like Visions of Mana, by the way, looks like it totally bombed.
And you remember the comment that the company said that Japanese developers don't make hits, which is interesting because they make stable income, right? And it's kind of interesting how you remember years ago how Japan was the golden mecca for video games and how that's changed, man. I mean, they still make great products. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not disrespecting Japan. Look at Nintendo's success. tell NetEase about Japan not making hits. Go to Nintendo and ask them about that. They'll say, "Yeah, hold my beer."
Yeah,
quick,
exactly.
buddy.
Exactly.
Yeah, Nintendo's, but that's an exception to the rule. But yeah, Japanese developers are, they're different, and we should have a podcast on that one. Difference of how their rise, obviously, and their decline, and now they're kind of. Some of them are like Capcom's been extremely successful, right? But they were hurting for quite a while, dude. So it's interesting, and it looks like Konami's starting to little get back in there,
see.
but not.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see.
Square
well,
Enix,
they got the Castlevania collection, but I don't know if they're developing that.
I doubt it.
That might have been outsourced.
Yeah, probably. Square Enix is just having a really bad year. Like their games just aren't. They're good. They're really good quality products. It's just they're just not performing well. And
I wonder why that is, Matt. Is it because of just gaming's getting more expensive and people are playing it safe, or maybe Japanese RPGs, single player RPGs aren't as hot as they used to be?
Honestly,
there has to be a lot of there has to be. I wish we know, but it's hard to get that kind of data.
Yeah, exactly. It's too hard to tell because like. Final Fantasy 15, was it 15? Yeah, 15 was like the best selling, I think, in the whole series. Like it did better than all of them.
It makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And this one is an action game, which is more catering to Western audience. Like it doesn't. I don't get it, man. I'm really curious to see what happens with Dragon Quest 3, the remake.
I hope that you've seen they've been hyping the shit out of that. I hope it's going to be really good. I'm sure it'll be good.
Well, I'm sure it'll be good.
Sales-wise,
yeah, exactly.
I hope sales-wise, that's what's important. Good
that's
games
it.
is one thing, but
because like I think now the Mana series goes on hold. I think that'll go on hold.
Yeah, I don't think that's
for a while, and it sucks because like I'm right at the end of the game. Right, like I finished the game, and then there's like one chapter that's like post game, and I'm in the post game right now. And
how do you like it? So far?
It's really good. The only thing is like too much talking, too much story. But
other
than that, no. But because like imagine Zelda, where every like I don't know 4 minutes there's like 8 minutes of dialogue.
Yeah, there has to be balance.
That's
right.
Yeah, that's the only.
I was just saying you're getting old and you don't have patience anymore.
No. It's not that. Because like Final Fantasy 15, I like that 11 hours of cinematics and stuff. And I watched almost all of them. It was just with this for an action RPG. I was like, okay, like stop. We don't care that you picked up a blade of grass. Like it's good enough to say picked up a blade of grass. Move on. Like, let's go.
Yeah, I know. It kind of reminds you of what was it, Lord of the Rings books. If you ever read there was like 2 or 3 chapters of him describing the forest. So he kind of overdid it. They said it was kind of some parts were hard to read. But anyways, thinking of sales, since Visions of Mana flopped, Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 just came out. I have it, by the way. It's a sequel to Space Marine, obviously. It sets a record for the 40K series. It's the most successful game to date. Over 2 million people at launch. So that's a shit ton of people, man. That's really good. And yeah, it's good to see it. Not Space Marine, Warhammer series, the 40K series, or Warhammer in general, has a hardcore, dedicated user base, and it's good to see that their series is getting more mainstream now. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Have you tried it?
No, man. Like I've got my schedule for like now. Like I want to finish Visions of Mana. We've got Zelda in I think 2 weeks, something like that.
Oh yeah. Don't forget about Zelda. Also, don't forget about that Mario and Luigi game coming out soon too. That's going to be a really good one.
It's all time.
You almost forgot. No.
I don't think I'm going to have time. To be honest, I don't think I'm going to have time.
No, Jared.
Because I've got. Well, it depends. October, I don't think there's anything.
No, there's really nothing. Yeah.
So
well, there's some.
That'll be my catch-up month because I also want to play Astro Bot because like I like platformers, so that would be, and it's not it's a 10-hour game or something, so that's right up my alley. I think that's about it. Like I don't think there's any other. We got Dragon Quest, but when does Mario and Luigi? When does that come out?
That's a good question. Let's look. Let's look.
Because October is going to be my month of sort of catch up, because November will belong to Dragon Quest. That'll be
It's
that.
Brothership, right? Oh, okay. It's well. Remember, Indiana Jones is in December, so you actually have October to catch up. November 7th, 2024 is when Mario and Luigi Brothership is coming.
Oh, when is Dragon Quest?
I think that's.
Because there's no way I could play that in 2 weeks.
Dragon Quest. Oh, well. Let's see when this comes out. Okay, so November 14th.
Yeah, there's no way. So there's no way. There's no way in 1 week I would be able to do that.
You know, by the way, it's coming out on Steam. Should I get the Steam version or the Switch version?
Oh, from Dragon Quest? I'm probably going to end up... with Dragon Quest, I'm probably going to end up with like 5 copies of this damn thing on everything under the sun.
I don't know. Tempting. The PC is obviously going to have better... But this is a 2D game. I don't think you're going to see much of a difference between the Nintendo version and
No, not really.
PC.
Not really.
I'll think about it. I'm getting it no matter what, guys, but I'm not sure which version. I'm probably going to get it on Switch. I haven't bought anything on the Switch for a little while. Probably get it on there. Even though the console version, it won't be as smooth and as detailed. Plus, you have to remember, it'll probably be native, better resolution on the bigger monitor support. So, we'll see. We'll see. I'll think about it. Maybe get it on Steam, but I think those type of games are just better on Switch. They're kind of old school. It's See.
Up to you, man. Up to you.
I do wonder, though, do they ever break down the sales? Cause let's say Dragon Quest 3 Remake's a huge hit, which we hope it is. Will they ever say, let's say it sells 2 million, and will they ever say 1.8 on Switch and the rest on PC, or they never break it down?
They'll do that with like Famitsu and stuff like that, but in North America, you have to go to those sites that sort of aggregate data and stuff. So there's always like that game's gonna sell the most on Switch. Although Switch, that'll sell the most on Switch. That'll sell most on Switch. Then it's gonna be interesting to see.
Now let's play devil's advocate here. What if it's a flop? Will that hurt the Dragon Quest series?
If that's a flop, Square Enix as a whole is in serious trouble. They're already in trouble because doesn't Final Fantasy come out like any day now on PC?
Yeah, it does.
So we need to pay attention to that, because I want to see like the number of on Steam, number of concurrent players and stuff to get an idea. Does that sell? Because that's a great game. Like, even though I was disappointed with the whole role playing game and all that stuff, but it was a really good game. And
it's going to be interesting, man, because I don't know if it's going to sell that well on Steam. It probably sell decent, but I don't think the PC. I mean, the Final Fantasy Online's popular, but traditionally has that series done on PC side?
Well, you tell me, man.
It hasn't done that great.
Well, that's the thing. Like it's associated with console. It just I'm using Astrobot as my kind of sort of example to show people of the type of gamers that buy specific things. And it's like the fact that we don't have concrete numbers, but it just doesn't look like it, because if you look at like the weekly sales and stuff like that, like where did it fall in line? Like we know with like Visions of Mana, it was like number 8 or something like that, and then the next week it wasn't even in the top 100 or top 20 or top 40 or whatever it is. And if you go to like the top 20 most downloaded games on like PlayStation or Xbox and it's not even in the top 20, then right? Like
Yeah, I kind of wonder, man. I wonder maybe because the Mana series. I mean, there were some remakes recently. I thought they did pretty decent, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe people just moved on from that series, and it can be
a million things. Like, dude, you explain this.
Yeah, release.
How the hell did Final Fantasy VII the new one that was released early
Flop.
this year, flop. That I have
Well, I
no.
think
I
yeah,
don't
it
get
could be a couple of reasons. One, and a lot of people were turned. I mean, I don't know how much this factor in, but a lot of people were turned off on the whole uh, was a two game part release and the pricing. So that might have been part of it. Maybe some people are like, well, F this, man. It's bullshit. Why is it you're releasing basically one game into two parts? So,
It's not even two; it's three.
Yeah, so that turns people off.
Yeah,
man.
but then why would they buy the first one?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So
who knows?
I don't know. It's anyway.
Who knows?
They have had just like a god awful year, Square Enix, man. The fact that like FF16 didn't do well, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth didn't do well, the Visions of Mana bombed right out of the gate. Next up is Dragon Quest, man, or Saga Frontier. Frontier 2, I think.
I think that will do well, right? Well,
Saga?
yeah.
Saga Frontier, I think will just it's a lower budget game. They don't.
Yeah,
I don't
they'll
think
probably
they care.
They don't care. Yeah, it's just something to fanfare. But Dragon Quest 3 remake, if that bombs, dude, that's going to be devastating. Not just for the series, but for Square, like you said, Square in general. That's going to be devastating. I think they're putting a lot of. If you go on their Twitter, they're twittering multiple times a day, so they're trying to get the hype going. And I think it should be okay for a couple of reasons. One, Dragon Quest does have their loyal user base, which might not be enough to make huge impact on sales. But these 2D remake retro stuff is extremely hot right now. A lot of people are eating up these games, so that has that going for it. So it should hopefully be okay.
Yeah, and I think, like, as a Dragon Quest fan, I think the other thing is, like, if you're going to remake a Dragon Quest game, this is the one to remake. This is like the one with the really badass story and all of that. So, I mean, I got my fingers crossed. I'm a huge Dragon Quest fan. It won't change anything in Japan because Japan are Dragon Quest nutcases. Like they, but, we need these games to do well. They don't have to do crazy well, but they have to be, like, profitable. If they're not profitable, that's where the problem is. And I guarantee you Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth were not profitable, and that's a problem. Like, that's a problem. And it's Final Fantasy VII is the one that I just don't understand. I don't get it. It's like one of the most popular games of all time. I really, really don't understand. And man, playing that, oh my gosh. You play that on a souped up PC and just enjoy, because it is a visual tour de force, man. It looks sick.
I wonder if it's a little bit of the Wii U going on here. Maybe a lot of people, maybe they're ignorant and they don't know that it's an actual continuation. They might just think it's the first game repackaged.
Maybe,
that's a possibility.
That's actually, I didn't think of that.
I'm thinking that maybe they'll call Rebirth. Oh, it's just they redid the game, collector's edition. F it, I'm not gonna buy it. So maybe that's a bit of it. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, that's actually that might, because that's the one game I have no explanation. I can't explain it. It makes no sense. It's like,
and honestly, the word rebirth is kind of misleading, right? Because it kind of hints towards, that's a remake. Oh, I'm skipping. So yeah, maybe that's part of it. People think it's just a repackage of another game, and they're like, screw it, I'm not buying it. So
I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
But yeah, that's sad. But yeah, Square having all these. You hear the rumors that Microsoft's looking their way. Yeah, I don't think Microsoft's. I don't think any of those companies would sell. But hey, at the end of the day,
dude,
you're financially hurting.
That's it. Like, at the end of the day, shareholders. That's the problem with publicly traded companies, right? Is exactly that. Is that at the end of the day, if someone comes along and your share price is low and they offer you $2, $5 more per share. If I'm a shareholder, that can be that can be very persuasive, very enticing. And that's
at the end of the day, these bigwigs executives, their suits and ties, they're all about profits and return on investments. They don't care about little Jareds and Timmies out there worrying about their little games and how they feel about it. They don't care about that. So
no, exactly.
They expect.
No, exactly. And dude, by the way, I want to let you know, don't forget, somewhere around like probably mid to late December, we're going to do our game of the year.
Ooh.
And this year, I'm pretty proud of myself here. I
Well,
played.
what's your candidate as of today? You remember, you still haven't played several games.
No,
Indiana
no, no.
Jones.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, of course, of course, of course. Like, I don't have my list. Wait a minute. Let me pop open my. Hold on a sec. Where the hell is it? Gotta love stuff like OneDrive. Love it.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
OneDrive's
so
great.
this year I have played 10 games so far. Oh, no, 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 that's not true. Sorry, sorry. That includes everything, so that's not true. That's not true. Hey, I just realized one of these is missing.
Uh-oh.
That's right, Castaway. That was a fun little
Really?
cute game. Yeah. Did you try that? It's only like 2 hours or something. It's a Zelda. It's like a Zelda game, but like Zelda Light, and then there's like roguelite elements. I played it for like 2 hours or whatever. It's just a cute little indie game. So, okay, if I had to say, man, I played a lot of games that came out last year. So let's see. From 2024, I played Hellblade 2. You never did try that. That's a really good game, man.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a really good game. It's not that long. That's a really good one. I played
I think
Final.
that's on Xbox.
Yeah, of course.
Game Pass,
Yeah.
actually. I should
Yeah.
definitely.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I played, and now I'm playing Visions of Mana.
That's it for 2024.
Well, released in 2024. So like,
Oh,
I
but there'll be
played-
more on that list soon, guys.
I played
The
Final
remake.
Fantasy 16. I played Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Fallout 76, Siberia: The World Before. Like I played, you know, those. But yeah, for the rest of the year, what I have here, at least right now, the ones that I'm going to play no matter what, are The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, Dragon Quest III, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and I will be playing Astrobot because, like I said, I am a huge friggin' fan of
Platformers.
platformers, yeah. And that, like I say, I'm not kidding. Like that probably is one of my favorite games on the PlayStation, and it wouldn't surprise me if that actually ends up being one of my favorite games of the year. If it's as good as the one that they released, which was like it was only like a 2-hour demo or something. It wasn't a demo, but like a showcase for the PlayStation. If it's as good as that one, that could be a contender for Game of the Year. Right now, I think.
Interesting.
Well, I only technically played one game, so it would have no choice but to be Final Fantasy VII.
We don't have the time to be playing it like some of those big like IGN sites that the dedicated. Well, they not only that, that's their career, right? So they sit and play games.
Well,
all
yeah,
the time.
like, dude, Tim, tell me which games this year did you finish to completion?
Dude, the problem with me is I don't play a lot of single player games much anymore. So I play stuff like, Dead by Daylight, Killer Clowns, Evil Dead, Space. Well, I'm going to finish the campaign for Space Marine 2, but dude, it's 6 hours. But it's mostly a co-op game. So, I don't play a lot of the game reward. Not that I don't like them. It's just I focus mostly on, live service kind of multiplayer games. So, yeah, I'm not a good example of that. So I'm not going to be. I plan on playing Indiana Jones. That'll probably be my game of the year if it's great. The Dragon Quest remake, but Dragon Quest remake's not going to be game of the year. I mean, no disrespect.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll see how good it is. Like for me, I'm just going to see how good it is, and then we'll go from there.
So yeah, I'm more of a multiplayer co-op.
Yeah, but that's okay. Which ones came out this year, though? That's the key.
Well, I am working on, and I'll tell you, very good game. It's kind of short, and then there's multiple endings. The Casting of Frank Stone, which just came out, and it's a really good game. It's a story-driven narrative type game, but it's very short, right? So it's like about 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, but it has multiple endings. It's one of those type of decisions where it has a dialogue window. And what's cool about it is I don't really stream anymore, but if I did, I could have chat decide the choice. You may think about like Dragon Age, where it has multiple, but they could choose which one, and it
cool.
affect the outcome. Yeah, that is kind of cool that they're doing. A lot of streamers will do their playthrough first for their choices, see what happens, and they'll play it again. Allow chat to have fun.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
cool.
problem with chats is they tend to meme and want the most devastating or outrageous, not the quote unquote what you would want. So, like if there's a choice, let them live, let them die. Oh, let them die.
Yeah,
let
yeah,
'em
exactly,
Die. Rather
exactly.
like, no, I don't want to do that. So yeah, I'll let you know how that is. But there's a few other games. Matter of fact, I'm going to play that came out this year. I still need to get going with some of these RPGs, but I'm playing a Crime Boss. It came out this year. It has a campaign, but again, mostly focusing on multiplayer. So I haven't got that done yet. Starship Troopers is technically in early access, about to come out. That's a great game. It has no campaign, but see a lot of multiplayer games. But I want to play and finish Disco Emporium. It's called that, and also but these are old games, not old. Midnight, what's it called? Marvel's Midnight Suns. That was last year. So, but there is Songs of Conquest, which I want to do the campaign. That's a strategy RPG. So yeah, there's a few of them.
Well, that's
But
what
again,
we'll do, man.
these are not. None of these are Game of the Year caliber type releases. So.
Well, it's okay. We'll still have fun. I mean, Steven used to be like, "Oh, Pokemon," and that was it. That was like his one.
Steven, I don't think Pokemon is ever game of the year to begin with, but for Steven it is, right?
It's so funny. All right, that's it, guys. We're past our time. It's going to be really interesting, it's going to be really interesting to follow all of this news. I am really curious to see these prices, though. I'm telling you, we're getting into territory where this hobby will stop being mass marketable if this continues for long. So really curious to see where we go from here. Thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you next week.
Later, guys.